Welcome back, fellow armchair generals. This is Gamer1745 here. We are continuing our conquest of Britain as part of Operation Sea Lion. Uh-oh, we got a rebellion out here. Okay, well. How do we just have a Marine HQ? I don't know. I don't know. We'll send in the HQs. There are not even any leaders in them to deal with this. Okay, Switzerland, you can have some energy. What's going on here? Why are we under attack by who? What? Remnants of Switzerland, or France, okay. All good stuff. Oh, he's still technically defending. You get probably your last battle in Africa. Probably not. Who knows? We'll see. Maybe there's more for the Africa to do in Africa. There's more for it to do, but talking in Africa here. Oh, we set up a naval battle here, I think. Those English cruisers that were here put up a lot of air to naval strikes, hopefully to get it, but maybe not. Sent them out patrolling. Okay. Everybody's caught up and more than caught up. Yeah, Papa Hoff moved north. Okay, Steiner. Dietrich. What do you want? Okay, you can have some supplies. Okay, heavy anti-aircraft armament for ships. We'll go with medium now. Don't want to lose to unnecessarily to any American air that we may encounter at some point. Okay, we're taking out Libreville, the current capital of Free France. Oh, we'll wait for some proper divisions to catch up. Okay, small air research radar. Advanced gyroscopic sights. Boy, someday I'll learn how to speak. It would help in this job. Okay, energy, fine. We're winning. Maybe not as much winning as freakish baby hands, but you know. It's good holding stuff in the fight as well. Got a bunch of midget submarines and some other submarines. Of course, a bunch of other stuff come back into production once we get all these divisions with 60 or more, or nearly. ICs. Okay, we've won there. We won here. Now you get in and help. And then pop a hull. Okay, well, we won that finally. Well, we're capturing more leadership. Bombing sites, we can improve those. We've added a couple more supply ports, so we're getting the supply coming in pretty quickly here. Okay, one there. How are we doing out over here in India? Go over this map. Not that we need the SS heavy panzers anymore, but oh well. Keep them moving to the front. Get over to air. Edinburgh Castle and the hills around it, I would say that that would be at least a level 1 of one of those things, even without any modern. There's a couple of old Craig Miller and a couple of other old castles that could have been easily sandbagged and would have made decent strong points. Not that, you know, this kind of force would blast them all apart, but if you're going to fight in the city, it's more than just an urban situation. Okay, well, got a lot of stuff coming, as you guys can see here. The carrier, though, I stopped the aircraft because I got aircraft currently enough to man it, and it'd take a long time to build this anyway. Now we go with a couple of light cruisers. Nothing there. Yeah, sort of big. And some condors. And some long-range fighters. Okay, a lot of those divisions have showed up. I'm going to build more of these, because we're going to need to control a lot of ocean area fairly soon. So I want to put those... Got a bunch of bombers. They're doing strike duty here just in case that one flotilla, wherever it was going. But I can send you home now. Rebase. I don't think you're carrying any troops. So I sent these guys down here. Wanted to add them into that. No. Yes. Yes. These guys get to go all the way down to here. I want to garrison these and not with my mountain troops. Accession and Saint Helena, I think, is a nicer island than that. I don't know about the weather though. They're having a vacation down there. For now, that's fine for now, but eventually everybody goes. And the British currently occupy this. Okay, well, where they're retreating to there. We'll retake it back for Spain. But like this is doing naval strikes, and these guys, once they leave the port, I want to put nav air on all of these islands here very soon. At least temporarily, while they help control the Atlantic, and then as we move across there. Yeah, I'm jumping around a lot, I know. You got all these troops here, these mountain troops. They're going to be used for send the transports up, and we're gonna use them to take these as well as maybe with Paris. So we move across so that they're sitting up in the port ready to move out. Okay, they're doing their job. Hmm. Yeah, oh. Well, they've put shots as a fortification. Now, if that's Stirling where Stirling Castle should be, that should be another medieval fortification that still would be an effective modern. Not as it stands, any, super high end, because it's something that a lot of modern high explosive, whether delivered through an artillery barrel or from an airplane, could really devastate. Not saying it's like some high-end concrete and rebar bunkers, but it's enough to make, a difficulty for an attacker. That they should be able to go, do something there without much improvement, but a few hours or days. Okay, jungle unit command and control advance. Well, since that's at 42, we'll let that go at least one more. 4-engine bomber crew layout has advanced, okay. Okay, that's 1944. Man. We're still battling over Dunbar. Okay, well, let's take it Edinburgh, that's good. What are we doing down here? Okay, well, Japanese are now taking off after them, so we don't need to continue the chase. Okay, that's alright. Still just scooping up the island chain there. Okay. Didn't know if they had the Ross side bridge or something we could go across. Built yet. Gunability. Okay, that'll be here. Well, I guess we captured more ice or leadership points. Okay. The second rolled around and we got a bunch of new events. Okay. Attack pilot training is advanced. Let's take a quick look at that. We're going to let that go. And United Kingdom has lost HMS Glorious. Okay. Croatian, the 392nd Croatian Infantry Division. Okay. Well, picture looks nice. For a moment, I'll grant that that's the proper arm badge for the unit. I don't know for sure Croatan with the thing, but that's Handschar, an SS division there. I don't know much about this. Was it? And this is, it says a Wehrmacht division. Whether it had the if they were a Muslim unit at all, because realize most Croatians were Catholics. That was sort of what distinguished them from being one of the things. I'm oversimplifying it, I know, but one of the things that distinguished them from being Serbs was, and they were Orthodox, the Serbs. So whatever. Wrong photo. It's Handschar, the Muslim SS division. I don't know whether that Croat division was Muslim or not. Just don't know. Known as the Blue Division. Established in Austria. Okay. Cool, we'll take that. Turkey for economy, expand our industry. Okay. Petrol rationing, no thanks. We're doing alright. 99 more. Okay, Oberhelfstabber, Südwest, whatever. That's Kesselring, I know. Don't see that hat badge too often. It's the, the road, cockade. That would be the proper term. That's the German cockade, but with the Luftwaffe eagle instead of the army one for that sewn pattern there. Okay. 43, the pass was appointed. So, okay, we'll deploy that. The 274th Infantry Division in Norway, its formation completed, and division remained on security and coastal defense in Norway for the rest of the war. Yeah, we'll take that. We'll use it to occupy some, whether continuing in Norway or move it to Britain or somewhere, we'll see, or no, really what I should do is go here. Okay, what does this look like? Okay, up here. Okay, division, don't know what I'm going to do with it right now. This is another one of Alexei's. No, wait a minute. Yeah, this is Revolverhelds. Fortress divisions, yeah, that's right. Sorry if I'm getting you guys confused, events confused wrong times, but so either we can move the railway artillery or something to somewhere else, or division somewhere else. We'll see about that. Everybody forward. Well, Glasgow's the temporary capital, okay. Now that they're retreating, they're counterattacking. Okay. What? How did we lose the battle of Glasgow? Occupied it. Home command destroyed. Okay, well, we've taken out their home command. I guess that moves them down on the surrender table. Okay, U-boat penned in Trondheim is constructed. Trondheim, there we go. I vaguely know. There. Okay, about time. Or we could decide not to do it. Let's see. Supplies. Well, the energy, of course, we could just give that away for free. Unrestricted submarine warfare doctrine, port, engineering gain, dry dock, engineering gain, seaport capability gain. Those are all at level 1. Shipyard, naval base. I like the shipyard. That's going to help construction, aircraft guns. That all seems reasonable, even though we really don't need a U-boat pen up here in Trondheim, particularly because we've taken Britain. But I like the shipyard and the various tech gains because we're still some of the naval operations. Well, we got unrestricted, but some of the other ones it'll help out a bit. So yeah, we'll go with that. Okay, the fall of London. God save the king. Sort of a little out of date, but whatever. So this will, United Kingdom gains 5 in descent, loses 5 national unity. Okay. The 41st SS Grenadier Division. This is one of these other divisions. Okay. Calvarella. Do you want to form the Paper Division SS? Finish number 1. Okay. The division was formed from veterans of SS Free Willing Battalion Norts and other Finnish volunteers. 2,000 men are shipped to Danzig, where the division will start to reinforce and rearm. Division is built around 3 regiments. Okay, well, I guess we'll take that. We'll lose a little bit of supplies, manpower. That, but probably going to be a skeletal unit. Okay. I'm going to look that up. 41st. That's here. Okay, so what they're giving us is a headquarters and a Grenadier Basic Infantry Regiment. Okay, well, that's interesting. We'll either have to build a bunch more units, or we will Bank for international settlements. We like that. I think this is better. Losing that, like, we could own, and I know Herman wanted me to, maybe a few others, but Herman wanted me to take Switzerland. But if I take that, I lose this. So we lose 4,000 supplies, but gain 600 money. Switzerland gains the supplies, basically we're done there. But we gain 4%. So anybody who's thinking about taking Switzerland, I'm pretty sure you don't get this if you take Switzerland. 4% bonus on ICs. Now, when we're rolling around to 200 or 300 ICs, that maybe not a whole lot, and maybe the ICs in Switzerland would be better. But we have a base of 760. I don't know whether that plus 4% is onto the base, probably presumably, as opposed to the available with 1132 with the other modifiers there, so it's probably just on the 760. So we get that, lose 15% supplies because it's going into their ongoing, but we gain money, and we gain 10% on money, which allows us to buy stuff, obviously, and we gain 3% on leadership. So yeah, I think that's worth not invading Switzerland over. Also increases their neutrality because it's designed to keep them neutral. So yeah, so I'm all for leaving Switzerland alone. I know I've got events here that would give some of these very, very German areas German cores if you take it, but only if you take it, and if you take it you'll get a fictitious one of my fictitious SS divisions. I named it after Wilhelm Gustav, the Nazi martyr, who was German Swiss. So that, and it's a mountain division. It's a sort of a coolish mountain division. I don't know if Himmler would have named it after Gustav, or if he would have tried some esoteric name, and Hitler probably would have he did overrule a few esoteric names that Himmler wanted to name them after, like some nearly forgotten or basically forgotten Germanic hero of the ancient past that he found in some book that Hitler knew that no one would relate to. I mean, you could tell all the divisional troopers, yeah, this is the story of Count so-and-so, but until they showed up, no one would have ever heard of it. And he went with more, names that would make sense to the Germans of the time. So that's sort of what I did with Gustav. Eventually, we'll have, once we're here long enough, we'll have some English SS divisions join our. I'm changing you to occupy, because we can go across the strait here, and we send you to there. Some English SS units. And we'll talk about why and how and why they're named and all that stuff when they come up. Could come up soon, but I think it's like 30 or 60 days after taking London. Not that Fall of London event, I don't think, but just controlling it, just to make sure that you've got to occupy it for at least a couple of days before you get a division showing up. Okay, well, Marine HQs have advanced, that's nice. Let's add mechanized to the small navigation radar has advanced. Well, we'll do some jet pilot training. The Combined Chiefs' staff have been destroyed, so the unit are getting that effect, and HMS Courageous is lost, not quite sure where. Operation Lila, capture of French fleet. French fleet was in Toulon. Okay. Why are we doing this? Okay. Yeah, the French isn't too long. But Operation Lila. Okay, Santon to take over that. Okay, take over the... I'm going to do no need because we're not doing Case Anton, so... Okay. Tanganyika event. Obviously here. Because we've taken London. Occupied it for enough time here. Yeah, again, I moved this thing here. Poster, actually rather good quality. One survived. This is a period map here. Again, since I touched it, you can't see it so well. Part of this setup is that it also has a Southwest Africa, Cameroon, and Togo one, but it's a very interesting map. It's made of the period, meaning sometime post World War One, before World War Two, I believe, but right in that period. And it's a very simple graphical map, but it talks about or it shows the various agricultural and not really industry, but minerals that were being extracted out of there, including the railways at the time and what existed at the time. So it yeah, it's a propaganda. It's a German-made propaganda map. So I don't know that it's 100% correct, but I figured the railroads really existed. I didn't question them, so I upped the infrastructure along the path a bit over some of the other areas, just generally speaking here. So you could move supplies and things along the railways better. And I corrected, using that map, I corrected some raw materials, rare materials and such based on the map that wasn't there. So I have not yet done a similar thing for Cameroon or Southwest Africa. Togo is whatever. Over here, nothing really all that useful. But that's what I used to make the corrections for the Tanganyika improvement. Use the period map, and the importance of the period map as opposed to a modern map with a similar sort of resources on it. They didn't know where the oil was in Libya. They sort of guessed that there was oil there. They did some exploratory research, and they were starting to work it out. And I know the Fox and the Lion mod has a really good chance to invest in Libyan oil. Drilling that might get you some oil, might not. It's sort of random whether you'll get that or not, but you have to invest quite a bit to get it, to develop oil. So when you don't know about a resource, they don't magically, you don't want to magically give a resource to a country that they didn't discover it was there until 1970. They wouldn't just, oh, well, somebody divines, well, you should go look over there for something. No, you need to stick with what was, at least, at minimum, what was thought to exist, because they were, because of the other oils found in Saudi Arabia and Iraq and places like this. Italy did have, starting to do a program of drilling exploratory wells in Libya before the war. They really were doing that. Hadn't found anything in any time to really start to exploit it. I don't know if they had found anything at all or not, but they could have, and they were starting to work on it. But there's other mineral resources or other potential agricultural resources that if you don't, you hadn't introduced a farming technique or a ranching technique, because you can develop cattle We don't really model food in Hearts of Iron well, at least. I mean, it's sort of the manpower in and out and whatever. But you can look at basic resources like leather, which can be contribute to resource needing. I don't know whether that be a rare material or not. Or wool, or whatever from farming in Tanganyika that would have helped. But those aren't really modeled well either. So when I'm doing corrections like that, I'm basing it on period maps, period knowledge, not looking at a 1970 something and presuming that it was there. I'm looking at period stuff. So we can leave Africa to the English if we want to. So why would you be sort of promoting up Tanganyika? I don't know whether Hitler, had they gotten to this point of taking Africa, whether Hitler would have either bowed to the pressure of the various German colonial movements, the veteran groups, the Reich Bund and whatnot, and reacquired it. Southwest Africa, with sort of the diamond situation, might have been a fair pressure, and there was a much larger stay-behind German community there. But Hitler really saw his expansion of Germany here. So I think, even if they had sort of followed this path of, coming down and conquering Africa, basically between Italy, Vichy French, and Germany here, we basically got Africa. Well, and Spain, which is now in the Axis. The only significant non-Axis country is Portugal, because Britain here is just the last of it's being squeezed out. So he very well, once taking, or even if they hadn't moved into, out of the Mediterranean basin and just, gone after the Soviet Union and not had gone into Southern Africa, not had gone into India, but once you conquer the Soviet Union, come back and take on Britain, which is a very valid alternative plan. I think Hitler, just because of his prejudices, just because looking at there's going to be, shall we say, enough of a headache managing all this, and if you're going to be expanding the great bulk of this territory into German living room, as you slowly replace, however you're doing it, the local population. And I do mean slowly, because they may have wanted a large part of it to starve away and go bye-bye, through dying. Let's not, sugarcoat this. They wanted not necessarily like shoot them all, or even had any idea that they'd be able to run that many people through any sort of death camps, but through starvation and other harsh measures, reduce the population enough. But they still wanted a fair amount of population, because there was no way Germany could populate this and make this a growth area for industry, for mines, and for food resources that you wanted to have for Germany and whatever, and as well as to maintain here. What they wanted to do, at least initially, was a German elite ruling class that, of course, with the Nuremberg laws and all this, that wouldn't be intermixing, marriage or otherwise, with the Slavic populations there. So they, keep them separate, and so slowly populate more and more Germans there. And I gather slowly over the generations reduce the amounts of Slavs living there, whether by sending them further east or just sterilizing them or forbidding them, to have too many children, or I don't know what, but just slowly decrease their numbers as you increase the Germans living here. So I think that's where Hitler really wanted to look for. And I think he wanted the Anglo-Saxon races. He saw them managing the other peoples in the world, because Hitler didn't want to do that. But we're going to take it. So let's see what happens down here. Great. Notice we took this province away from England. I think we should have maybe taken that one too, but we didn't. Or from Italy. So I think that's supposed to be also, but that's, I don't know. Maybe I didn't code that right. But notice now it's now German. Revolt risk is gone. It is now flagged as Germany. And so we will get more resources now. If you remember, I think it was at 0.8, now it's 1.4, because it's now, I mean, it's just a minor thing as it goes, but this is now, and the reason I made this event happen after, there's several reasons, but one of the reasons I made this event happen after taking out London is sort of, I guess, partially based on my playstyle, is that I moved in here first as opposed to, and you have to actually you have to be in possession for this event to fire. You have to be in possession of Tanganyika. You can't just charge into London and take this, and then have this event fire. If you don't move in here at all, I don't think you have to own every province, but you have to own like Dar es Salaam and a couple others. So if you haven't moved in at all, or if the Italians had moved in instead of the Germans, it would just sort of remain British. It would not have come over to be German. So it's sort of like given a year or two for a lot of the former colonials to move back to Tanganyika, as well as their children who either were born and or raised for some time in Tanganyika, or younger children, coming in that were born to parents who talked about Tanganyika, and then they'll come down and have an affinity for there, and because they were well remembered. The Germans were well remembered by the Africans down here, especially the Askaris. They were the Germans at the time, up until World War I and through World War I, paid their Askaris more than the British did, more than the Belgians. The Belgians were awful colonial leaders. They were about the worst in the latter part of the 19th century and early 20th century. They were just awful colonial rulers. Better than the Italians paid their Ascari types, better than the Portuguese. They were sort of paid quite well. And the Germans that were here treated their African subjects fairly well overall, as well or better than the English did that they came in. So they were well remembered. So having the, shall we say, the proper Germans to come down here that had an affinity for living here, as opposed to, and I say that meaning not the Germans who wanted to do away with all of the lesser peoples as they would have saw it, or whatever, that would have a bad attitude, try to, get the guys who want to come down and be here and work with the people here. And they wouldn't be, the U.S. Peace Corps kind of guys, but you know what I mean, I think, that would work well with them and not have bad attitudes towards the local African populace. I think the Germans would have been well received, so this is why they get their cores pretty quick, because they were remembered well. So that's that basically, there may be an event or two that'll fire, but that's basically the end of the Tanganyika mod. You've taken Britain, you've taken Tanganyika, and it becomes German, and you no longer have to worry about garrisoning it for uprisings. Sure, if you're going to be invaded, you have to, keep your port control here and all of that. So that's sort of that. So that's my take on German Africa so far. Tanganyika, at some point, most likely after we get to Hearts of Iron 4, will be expanded into Cameroon, and most assuredly be expanded into Southwest Africa and South Africa, because there's a whole Afrikaans movement, definitely in the 30s primarily, was getting a Nazi influence in it up in here. I don't know if I'm ever going to create anything for Togo. I think this is Togo. Togoland or whatever it's called. As a colonial, German colonial thing. That's sort of useless, but Cameroon. So we're looking at doing that sometime in the future. So if you ever have any interesting photos, you find online, interesting stories, whatever, you can send me links regarding, well, I mean, any of this stuff through World War II. You can send me any of that at any time. But if you have particularly some African stuff, I'd love to know about it, because we will be expanding it in time, but no plans to do anything now. Yes, you can have supplies. Okay, well, we're going to end this episode here. Thanks so much for viewing. Thanks for liking the videos. I do appreciate that. Please post your comments. Love hearing from you. We will continue the conquest of the British Isles next time.